Okay, I got my A-team hat on, and I'm still wearing my Batman because I slept in it, and um, I'm still Batman. Okay, today's topic is artificial intelligence, and it is got to do with um, how did artificial intelligence come about? Um, In other words, I mean, we see artificial intelligence in games. How did artificial intelligence um, come about? The second thing I want you to consider is something called game theory, which is not really mathematics. It has maybe something to do with logic related to these other things. But game theory, it's basically a field of investigation into the nature of games. One of the um, types of games that can be studied within game theory is a zero-sum game. So one of the things that I'm going to give you to look into is Google game theory and Google the zero-sum game. And then the next thing that I'm looking into is uh, some people who are talking about if you were going to go and imagine you are a robot with an artificial intelligence where you could uh, have computer chips that you put in and take out of yourself. Um, One of the computer chips that you might have in you is generally. mm, Well, it's hard to place it, but what is your sort of main um, motivator? Uh, this gets back to the artificial intelligence, and I'll give you Isaac Asimov, the sci-fi writer. He came up with originally the three laws of robotics, and then he added another law of robotics. And these laws of robotics had to do with giving robots or artificial intelligence ethical programs. It comes up because from time to time we're given some information about military robots, which are designed to replace the job of human soldiers. And I always question, do these military robots have Isaac Asimov's uh, at least four laws of robotics built into them? Because if they don't, it's going to be very dangerous for humans. Because more and more, the artificial intelligence has really surpassed humans' ability to, or have they? That's a good question. Is artificial intelligence more capable than human intelligence? Or maybe I'll leave it that way. But again, I want to look at what is the programming of the artificial intelligence. Is it, well, let me give you some examples of basic programming as far as goal setting or purpose. Something that is being bandied around in the, let's call it the UFO groups on the internet, is classifying extraterrestrials as whether they are service to self extraterrestrials, which is in other word selfishness extraterrestrials, Or are they service to others extraterrestrials, which has been equated to benevolence towards others? That would be one programming chip. You could, if you were a artificial intelligence, you could choose to put in a service to self chip to make you a service to self entity, or you could put in a service to others. Maybe we'll call it a benevolence chip. Can you have both of these things? Well, let's say if you do, are those two chips going to fight within you for dominance? Another alternative to this duality of service to self and service to others would be one that came to me last night, the Hap Day chip, whose purpose is for you to have a happy day. I'm not going to suggest you put the Hap Day chip in with a service to self chip and a service to others chip because I think it's best to, or maybe you should, maybe they should all fight amongst each other and you should watch to see which one wins as far as becoming the dominant chip. And then you might want to evaluate the whole concept of dominance as the kingpin of what type of behavior becomes predominant within you. Because if you remember, dominance is usually considered to be an animal instinct as compared with agape love, which is considered to be a higher form, of much higher form of human, maybe even more like angelic experience, angelic purpose, agape love. It's not romantic love, it's higher love. So there was an old song called Higher Love by, it wasn't Bruce Springsteen. Who wrote Higher Love? Anyway, I can't remember. But anyway, it's higher love. It doesn't mean, kiss, kiss, bang, bang, let's get laid and move on. It's higher love, which sort of comes back to my other item, which was service to others, which I equated with benevolence. But then again, we've heard of benevolent dictators, which are still about dominance. Dominance to me still reminds me of the biggest crocodile in a pond of crocodiles being the dominant crocodile. Or if you remember gorilla behavior, gorillas are ruled by the dominant silverback, which is sort of the oldest, biggest gorilla, pounding its chest to say, I'm the most dominant one, listen to me, listen to me. Happy Day reminds me of, the immediate thought that came to mind were the 4 or 5 precepts of Reiki. Reiki is kind of a form of energy healing. And I'm trying to remember what all the precepts are, but let me see how many I can give you without me going to Google. Just for today, they always start just for today, do not anger. Just for today, do not worry. Something about attempt to do your best. That's all I'm going to get right now. So part of your job right now is to review my video, jot down the things that I've said in point form, and use your Googleizer to get some more information. And then you can do a little book report and post it on the internet. Or you could ignore the whole exercise. The whole point of the exercise is to evaluate your personal program. In other words, consider yourself to be an artificial intelligence robot. who is self-aware, which also means sentient, and is evaluating its programming to see if it is demonic, which is about everything we consider not so much cute demons, but mostly to do with horrible, 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 nasty, toxic kind of behaviors versus being the kind of robot who we are inspired by because it lifts us up into higher levels of consciousness, which I hesitate to say angelic because it sounds kind of Sunday school, cloying, which means saccharine, which means kind of sickly sweet, too much religion and not enough clearing away the clutter of, being brainwashed by religion without getting the full purport of what I'm trying to get to. Purport is basically if you were whittling down through and cutting away all the bullshit around an idea and then trying to get to the core, also known as the abstract core of what it is that it is. Abstract core is a term that was coined or created. I'm not sure if it was created, but it was definitely promoted by Carlos Castaneda when he was interviewing the Yaqui shaman Don Juan Matus. And Don Juan Matus is what you would call a wise man, an older man, let's say 72 years old, talking to Castaneda, who was a grad student at UCLA, perhaps, I don't know, 25. So a man who'd been through it all, a lifetime of experience, talking to a young man who was very curious. And abstract core was basically Don Juan Matus telling Carlos Castaneda stories about himself and his benefactors. In other words, when he was a young man, when he met, when he was when he was a young man of 25, when he was talking to old men in his day who were 72. So, sort of the progress, the stories depict the motivations of previous generations of well, these ones were called sorcerers, but we could just say previous generations of humans, and evaluating, this was what they were motivated by. These were the kind of motivational chips that they were running on, and evaluating by story whether they lived worthwhile lives or whether they, basically wasted their lives. That is quite a lot for you to jot down. And as I don't always expect you to do your homework, I will do at least some of it for you. So please come back and take a look. On Instagram, I am Burrows Bobby, and be noting that Instagram limits me to 10 minutes, and quite often I can't do a really good lecture in 10 minutes. So I much prefer if you come over to my YouTube channel that doesn't limit me to 10 minutes, where I can give you extended informational talks. My YouTube is InfiniteBob99. Thank you for your kind attention, and I do hope you do at least some Googling of the things that I've talked about, because you should be on the A team with Mr. T and Face, or you could be on Team Batman.